Do you suffer from an aching back from using a traditional brush cutter? Well, behind me I've got the brand new Weibang Velocity 56 WTV, and I think you want to stay tuned to see if it's something that you need. Let's fire it up and get going. Let's explain what a wheel trimmer actually is and what it does. So rough cutting wheel trimmers are designed for cutting back long grass and thick weeds, like nettles or brambles, over a large area where a handheld machine isn't practical. So on this Weibang here, we got a big 4-stroke engine that drives a 56cm trimmer head. So think of this particular product as having a lawnmower engine on the back with this nylon trimmer head, which has got a multitude of nylon braids. Now this is big thick braids, this is actually 4.5 mil, so it'll pretty much go through anything. Now this machine is designed to be heavy duty. It certainly is more than a normal handheld brush cutter because you've obviously got the thicker line and you would only probably put a maximum of 3 mil in a conventional strimmer. Right, so let's tip it back and have a look at the very simplistic controls. Just like a normal rotary mower like you'd have at home, you've got a drive lever and you've also got a blade or engagement lever for your trimmer head. And it's super easy to fire up. You've got your choke lever on the side, so put it into choke and pull the rope. Once it's started, knock it back onto full throttle, you've got idle and you've got to stop. So we thought it would be best to start in some more untamed areas of the farm first. As you can see, the Weibang absolutely powers through the long grass, patches of weed and nettles which haven't been cut back this year. Now it's not surprising this machine can do this because that's what it's designed for, but the speed and finish in which it performs is certainly impressive. Let's look at some of the specs of the machine. Weibang have specifically developed a low vibration and high torque engine which generates 3.6 kilowatts of power. This gives so much more than even the largest of conventional brush cutters. I can easily go through the heavy material at my own pace with the variable speed controls fitted to the handles. It also means I can clear large areas quickly with the wide offset 22-inch cutting head. This feature also allows me to strim up against fence lines or edges with ease while feeling completely safe from the protection of the debris guard. Also another nice feature is when you get into rougher areas like this, the 14-inch wheels make light work of traversing the lumps and bumps. So we're cutting pretty low at the moment and it is thick old stuff. So what we can do is quickly move the height of the nylon. So we're going to move it up to the 3rd height setting. And that makes it quite a universal machine. So if you're cutting short grass and want a nice finish, you can have it down nice and low. But obviously if you're cutting the rougher stuff, bring it up a few notches, just like so. And it's as easy as that. Right, time for some thicker stuff. This is really going to put it through its paces, as this area hasn't been managed for years. There is a mixture of weeds, including saplings and ground elder. As you can see, instead of using self-propulsion like I did in the nettles and grass, I'm using a forward and back motion to really get everything cut up finely. On this particular machine, they utilise a snorkel type high air intake system which extends to the cockpit handles. This means there's always a supply of clean air to the engine, reducing the chances of clogged filters. It's been really interesting to use this machine in dense vegetation because historically, with my own personal experience, if you push these machines too hard, the belts and cables are just not up to it. Weibang have actually fitted heavy duty belts and pulleys to this machine, which is probably why others would have failed at this point, but the Weibang has just ploughed on. Now there's no getting away from it, that is bloody impressive. Now you'd have to use a normal conventional strimmer with a metal blade to get through this. Bearing in mind we're only using their 4.5 mil nylon on there. The only thing that I did struggle with a little bit is where you get those sort of tuftier areas where you got a lump and a bump, you just got to give it a little bit of a wiggle, just to get the machine over. Right, let's see if we can clear the area. I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home, when I'm home.
thinking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do. There was nothing you said that could make me realize.
Right, so pretty impressive, eh? We've got to now replace a line. So Weibang produce pre-cut lengths, so lengths in a tube, or you can buy it on a reel and just cut it to length, whatever you want. So we'll take 2 bits of nylon out. Like I say, they are 4.5mm and they are twist, so it will give a better cut, nice and thick. So we're going to go back into the head. So push your 2 ends in, like so. Those 2 ends will then come out the middle, and all you do is you pull it up and pull it in, and that is how easy it is. Locks it right into place, simple as that. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put 2 lots of cord in this and see what sort of finish we get, because it is really, really tough. There's no getting away from it. It is probably the worst place I could find on the farm to use this machine, but it gives a good test, because if it can do this, it can pretty much do anything. So we've doubled up our line on the head, just like so, on 2 different heights. So you're getting like a double cutting action, so more of a mulching effect. Look at that, got a double whammy. Nothing's going to stop it now. So there we go, that's made a bit of a difference, doubling up that nylon. Now, I have a challenge. We got Bramble. Can it cope with a thick mass of Bramble? Now I think I may have reached my limitations on this patch of Bramble, as I seem to be cutting into undergrowth instead of mulching down the top. It does cut it, but it's harder work than I expected. If you're cutting back high dense material like this, it would take some time. But it does give you a good idea of the thickness of material this machine will really handle. The odd patch of Bramble here and there wouldn't be an issue at all. There is only one downside to this type of machine, and that is banks. You cannot strim a bank like a conventional strimmer. These are really only designed for very level ground or something that is a little bit lumpy and bumpy. Now, it didn't leave anything in its path. We had nettles, rushes and bramble. But stop, before you spend your hard-earned cash, why should you spend it on something like this? Now, if you come across something like this with your big walk-behind bladed brush cutter, you're probably going to stall the engine. But with our wheel trimmer, the nylon just bends back. So my first point will be value for money. If you compare this to a commercial brush cutter, it's going to be very similar in cost, but it takes all the strain out of swinging around a conventional strimmer. So you can easily store the machine away in your van for commercial applications, flip it up for your storage, but also because you've got the narrow frame, it means it can go through tight obstacles. So that is the Weibang Velocity 56 WTV. Is it the best machine you can buy for your money? I'll let you decide. We're Machinery Nation. We bring you product videos every week all about tools and machinery. We hope you enjoyed it. Please ding the notification bell, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheerio!